Hello everyone, I'm Archana Kuppaswamy, a Senior Partner Solutions Architect and SAP Specialist with AWS. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Christopher Bedford from EPI-USE, an AWS Advanced Tier Partner and an SAP on AWS Competency Partner.
Hi Archana, I co-lead the payment services practice at EPI-USE, and I'm here today to talk to you about an exciting new product that we have built in collaboration with the AWS Partner Innovation Hub and the release of the all-new AWS ABAP SDK for SAP.
All right, let's begin with AWS SDK for SAP ABAP. Basically, this is the latest addition to the larger library of AWS software development kits we have. AWS SDK for SAP ABAP makes it very easy for ABAP developers to extend and transform the SAP-based business processes by harnessing the power of AWS services natively using the SAP ABAP language. The AWS SDK for SAP ABAP supports any SAP ABAP-based application such as say SAP NetWeaver, ABAP version 7.4 onwards, SAP S4HANA, BW4HANA, etc. and many more. The SDK is a set of ABAP classes that you can import as a transport and use it in your ABAP programs to interact with the 300 plus AWS services via the REST API as we see in here. It supports both self-managed deployment and RISE with SAP, and specifically with SAP Private Cloud Edition and RISE with SAP, the customers can leverage the ERP Pay service and the AWS SDK by utilizing the SAP Private Link service on the SAP's business technology platform using the Cloud Foundry. With having said that, let's deep dive and discuss how AWS SDK for SAP ABAP is utilized with EPI-USE's ERP Pay Solution.
Thank you, Archana. So here at Payment Services, we concern ourselves with all things payments. And this can be inbound payments, outbound payments, accounts receivable, accounts payable. And really, we look to apply the techniques in high volume digital payment acceptance to provide optimized and streamlined processing for our clients. Today, we're going to be talking about ERP Pay. ERP Pay brings together the payment service provider and the banking processes of self-service digital payment acceptance, both for debit and credit card, card wallets, and ACH payments that are inbound to the organization. It drives automated reconciliation into SAP using the AWS ABAP SDK for SAP and leverages a host of AWS services to improve financial processes. These include AWS S3, EKS, API Gateway, ALB, Private Link, and many others.
So Christopher, would it be possible for you to explain the use cases and industry verticals that will benefit from the automated reconciliation?
Well, Archana, there are a number of use cases and verticals that this technology applies to, and really any large institution that's accepting payments in a digital self-service manner, or indeed over-the-counter and in a variety of different channels would benefit from the ERP Pay software. And so if we use a real-world example, let's use the example of a higher education facility or a university. It's important to understand the landscape and the challenges that financial managers face when trying to reconcile digital payments. It starts with the ACH and card networks. The retail banks and brands like Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express, all who provide the consumer with a variety of instruments to pay digitally. Then a payment processor or payment service provider who will extend APIs out to facilitate processing the various instruments and often taking care of all important security protocols like payment card industry data security standards. Finally, the university's bank, where the monies that have been paid are deposited at a designated time after each day end, with students generating payment transactions every day. At close of business every day, that money is in general moved from the processing or merchant accounts into the university's depositing institution or the university's bank. Up on the front, facing the student body and out to the relevant stakeholders who need to participate in some or other payment process with the university, in general, there will be a selection of different web applications that the university is using. So by example, university typically have an application for student fees, a portal for books and stationery. A common one is on-campus parking, student card top-up, donations, and eventing. These lines of business are accepting payments from a variety of payment service channels. This can be the web, mobile, over the phone, email, regular mail in the case of checks, to a contact center or over the counter in a field office. And this is where it can get extremely complicated, as the line of business applications can be using a variety of these different channels. And so a mobile payment that is coming into the student fees portal, a web payment that's coming in, say a field office or over the counter that's coming into books and stationery, a call center payment that is coming down into the parking environment. And so the question is, how do we bring together all of this processing so that we're not jumping between different applications to monitor and manage the transaction flow during the online day, but also through the day end and finally in the funding processes? Often customers can be using multiple payment service providers, multiple acquirers, different application vendors on the front end that are serving useful applications to customers. And how then do we reconcile all of this into our SAP financial management? And this is where ERP Pay can help.
That is perfect. Thank you.
So first up, ERP Pay extends out an API to all these self-service applications where it can enrich these transactions inbound with metadata that is pertinent to the reconciliation inside SAP. And in particular, that would include things like business partner number, contract account number, or the destination general ledger number. And indeed, any other meta-tagged referencing that accounts receivable, as it's been set up, requires to run a successful day end, as well as a successful funding event. In the ERP Pay environment, we have the core processor, which concerns itself with processing these transactions across the entire landscape during the online day, and communicating using Amazon MQ with two key subcomponents. The first of which is ERP Pay Recon Rabbit, which matches the transactions from the various service providers and ensures that they are enriched with the correct referencing for SAP accounts receivable. And then ERP Pay Flow Meter, which is the administration environment where customers can see all the different payment service provider transactions and digital payment instruments that they've extended out into the student body and view, reconcile, and manage those transactions, both from a reconciliation point of view, but also inbound queries from students and other customers where transactions have to be refunded or need to be voided, or indeed, if there are any chargebacks or other anomalies in terms of the standard payment workflow. Now, using the all-new AWS ABAP SDK for SAP has allowed us to build a bridge using the Amazon SQS service and further leveraging additional AWS services like Amazon Fraud Detector. The SDK between SAP and ERP Pay is such that we can run these transactions in real time into the accounts receivable environment and reconcile them at day end, literally in an automated fashion. In this case, we are leveraging the Amazon SQS service to run guaranteed and persistent transactional messaging between SAP and ERP Pay so that during the online day, The position in terms of revenue collection can be monitored in real time from one specific place, but also as it comes to day end, these transactions are then checked against the payment service provider or indeed the acquiring bank that's processing the transactions in an automated fashion without the use of fuzzy logic or an artificial intelligent matching service, and literally on a one-to-one basis. That being, that which is in SAP matches exactly that which is in the bank, and then to run the day end and the clearing within SAP directly. If we consider a standard accounts payable process in SAP, it begins with scanning invoices, capturing metadata, duplicate checking, business rules and approvals, and posting for payment. So here at Payment Services, we are always looking to optimize and enhance a client's ability to run efficient automated processes which secure and protect the payment landscape. We introduced AWS Fraud Detector both for accounts receivable and accounts payable. And really what Fraud Detector adds to the ERP Pay list of functionality is to be able to vet account onboarding and to be able to vet accounts receivable, but also to be able to scan outbound accounts payable from SAP. ERP Pay can at this point upload the accounts payable transactions to Amazon Fraud Detector, which will vet and return questionable outbound payments, allowing further vetting and ultimately posting for payment.
So Christopher, in summary, what are the key benefits of ERP Pay?
So utilizing ERP Pay introduces efficiency and brings down your cost of collection. It improves visibility with a precise reconciliation and additional protection in terms of preventing fraud in flagging poor account onboarding, and of course preventing outbound fraud to pay suppliers and other vendors that are presenting invoices to the university.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much for explaining the solution to our customers and educating us on the ERP Pay. Thank you all for listening in. See you in the next video.
Thank you.